Greetings and salutations, Pokemon fans. We are back with more black and white content because, as we all know, black and white is the gen everyone loves and cherishes. Cherishes. How do you spell that? Okay, so what do we have here? We have Finchinator against Harshest, who is hell bent on never using his main name, which is gonna net him an infraction or two, I guess. That's not for me to judge. Right, so what do we have here? We have a oh, this is this team style. Pretty funny. I Some people think this type of teams are let's say extremely mediocre. Other people think they're amazing, and it's kind of polarized in a way. And I think I'm more in these teams are kind of whatever camp. I'm not a fan. Sometimes I load them because I think Gliscor is a fun one, and Gliscor plus Magneson doubles the fun. But I'm not a super fan, let's say. And for Finchinator, we have an hyper offense team with current Black Magneson, which is pretty weird. I mean, it's not super weird. Current Black really struggles against steel types. Some of them, in some situations, which sounds insane, but like, isn't that every Pokemon ever? Sometimes they struggle against some things. Sometimes, yes, but Current Black specifically really struggles sometimes, if it makes sense. Like, there are games where Current Black is just mega walled and you wish you had a Magneton, and so yeah, that's about it really. And the rest of the team looks pretty standard. I mean, it's what Scarfracci, Specs Latios, Special Defensive Landorus, 3 Attack Starmie, could be whatever. And Quebec, I know the set, it's like Thornberry sub beam, air power. Last move, I don't know. It's Fusion Bolt, I believe. It's not sub, it's Roost. Right. As for Harshest, these teams are pretty one-dimensional. It's Wasden's Gliscor, Nasty plus Celebi, Scarface Cadril. No, they're not that one-dimensional. Some people run Scarf Magneson as the only Scarf, which looks incredibly funny and to me is incredibly stupid, but if it works for them, it works for them. I'm not the one playing. And then next it could be anything. Yeah, you can make it like Protect. I think Protect with Zone and SD Gliscor works great because you don't need SD, or rather SD is kind of weird because you're slower than a lot of Landorus right? So even if you get an SD up, you struggle. You'd rather do immediate damage to open up the path for Gliscor. And the rocker will be Tyranitar then. I mean, you don't if you do Gliscor Magneson, you have to run Swords Dance on Gliscor, right? So Rocks on Excadrill, not impossible, but I mean, you have Earthquake, Iron Head, Spin. Last move could be Protect or Toxic. Toxic, pretty nice. Rocks, okay-ish, but I think you want Rocks Titar on this. And you lead Titar, obviously, because there's no weather on the other side. 1, 2, Kieran Black is very annoying without Sand Up. It's annoying with Sand Up, but without Sand, it's a disaster. And anyway, Titar is kind of nice into this, if you have Ice Beam at the very least. So yeah, and Finch should probably lead Landorus Therian. You can lead Kieran Black, but I think Lando is stronger lead. Let's see. I would lead Lando personally, but I could see Kieran Black because there's one interesting angle for this, which is you have Magnus on and Kieran Black, so this Kieran Black could very well be like choice band, and you just auto-restore one, and that's a 1 kill guaranteed, and your revenge kill is nothing, right? Because you're Scarf Magnus on. Flash Cannon will do decent damage, but not kill. Okay, let's see. Switch out to Jirachi. Well, it's... Oh, immediate trick. Uh, did you try to catch a Gliscor? I guess. Because it looks a bit weird. I think you always U-turn immediately, but if you catch the Gliscor here, which I guess that was the attempt, or even Gastrodon, then you're very happy, man. Yeah, it costed you 40% on Rachi, but that doesn't say no Latios or Alakazam on the other side, so who cares, right? Alright, Lando in probably just rocks. And here I would HP Ice personally. Okay, not even your turn. I can see it. A lot of Gliscors on this type of builds run Ice Fang and are quite fast. And so you don't want to tank an Ice Fang for free without killing back, which you don't even if it's zero special defense. It does around 75%, I believe. And then you all have almost instantly lost to Escadrille from there, especially if it's protect. So I approve of this switch actually. Current covers almost everything that Gliscor could do. Okay, air power. Why not just beam, man? Oh, now we're talking. 41%, cold crits, 26%. This is Lambert Kieran Black, but Harshest doesn't know, which makes this 1 versus 1 in Kieran Black's favor, by the way, because you will need 2 skull burns before you get crit, which is not that easy. And also, you need to not get frozen on a recover turn, which is also a very real consideration. Every turn is like 16% chance you just die. A bit less, because you're not always recovering, but... And here comes the Roost. Roost revealed. Arches didn't expect it, obviously, because he just recovered, despite being a 90%. And there's the crit. And Toxic. Lumberry. Lumberry triggered. This Kieran Black is now extremely dangerous. You're gonna get beamed here. Power trying to catch Magnus on, I assume, but I think I would just beam anyway. So if you beam, Zone will take 40 something percent, because that mon is very frail, especially defensively at least. But I guess he was more worried of a potential free zoning than to just give a free entry to Celebi. You can just beam the Celebi anyway. And Harshest is pivoting around quite well. 30%, that's less than I expected. But it's still good enough. Yeah, you're forced to go Lando here. Ooh, it's Scarf Toxic. Oh, this is bad for Finchinator. There's an Escadrille and Gliscor. It's getting dicey to beat all of these guys. You U-turn here. On the other hand, you have Kieran Black, who is very strong still into this. Like, okay, the problem with for Kieran Black here is that there's a Tyranitar on this side, which means you will get... You kind of false Kieran Black, which is quite sad if you think about it, but it's just how it is. And in fact, I expect it to happen quite soon. Okay, nice Roost. You probably switch out Kieran Black. You don't want to risk getting Toxic or Flash Cannon. Kieran Black is your main win condition in this game. Kieran Black plus Lando plus Starmie are quite decent here. It's a matter of, well, Landos is Toxic, which kind of sucks, but it's still very doable. because, yeah, U-turn in Curem Black should be... Okay, there's a non-zero chance Gliscor is faster than Curem, but it doesn't kill it anyway, so it's fine. And this beam... Do you go Celebi into zone again, or do you just go hard zone? Or do you go Titar? Okay, Titar is fine. It will take 17% from Ice Beam. Expertly chipped, and the Kyurem has to switch out, and it gets persuaded. Very nice play by Harshest, by the way. This is what we want to see in SPL. And now you... This is not an easy turn for Finch, though, right? Because Earthquake will kill Tyranitar, but U-turn wouldn't. And no, but Harshest has to save the Theta, right? There's no universe in which you're like, oh, my opponent U-turns, I pursuit it. I think that's insane. Okay, goes on, which would be fine in their case. All right, and here comes Latios. Latios. This only makes sense if you're Dragon Pools, I think. And even then, it's a bit sus. Okay, I guess it worked. But now Tyranitar comes in. But that's okay, because you force damage on it, and then Kyurem Black almost wins from here, right? I think that's the thought process behind it. Or Starmie even. Okay, that did... that did 28. Alright, goodbye Latios, and back to land the U-turn, right? That's... Your opponent has no play into this. I guess zone... I mean, zone, and then... And then what? Starmie. Yeah, Starmie outspeeds Mag. And you Ice Beam. Oh, okay, the problem with Ice Beaming, though, is that if this is Coast Up Berry, this time is mega dead. Which would be really annoying, as in, it's almost game-losing territory. That said, it has to be Choppleberry, right? Or has Arches given up on even bothering to check Alakazam? Not that Chopple Titar is the best thing ever, but at least you have a way out. If I guess there's a non-zero chance it's Double Scarf, but Double Scarf with this build is extremely underwhelming. And so I just stay in and click Beam again if I'm Finchinator, really. What else can you do? Yeah. And it was Choppleberry. Oh well, it was not Coast Up at the very least. Okay, Selby comes out. I think you go Curem. Ooh, Chirachi. No! I mean, it's okay, you just U-turn. Doesn't Starmie win Ice Punch? What? I think you U-turn there. And if your opponent stays in, you can assume it clicked whatever move, really. You have a free sacrifice in zone anyway. This is a very weird Ice Punch. I'm confused. What was the idea? Alright, so you have Girachin and the Salvini click rocks. Okay, so this is where we are. I click Ice Punch, I don't even tweet Chaos Celebi as a whole. It will do what, 40%? And I will let it recover, and even if I freeze, it's got natural cure, so unless you freeze on the first attempt, then it doesn't work. Was it an attempt at catching Gliscor? But I think you U-turn here, right? And if your opponent stays in, who cares? First off, who cares? It takes 1,000,000 damage from U-turn. It might even kill, and even if it doesn't, it has to recover, or it just dies the next time it switches in. And that means your Starmie wins from here, right? Okay, Starmie doesn't win still necessarily because there's a potential Scarfax Cadril, but you have a Magnezone. Like what? In in I don't see the Ice Punch play at all. I think your turn is such an. It is the obvious play, but it's also the best one, right? Okay, so U-turn. If you U-turn and the Escadrille comes out, you may be slightly worried that it's Scarf, but you can just go Landorus and then just U-turn. Because if it is indeed Scarf, it cannot Iron Head you, because if it does, it dies to Zone next, and then your opponent has guaranteed loss to Starmie. Or even Cure and Black. Let's see if it's even is Scarf. If it's not Scarf, well, you cannot know it, so you kind of have to go Landorus there, but that's okay. Because if it reveals to be leftovers, you can just U-turn on it again, or Airquake it if you're afraid of, say, a substitute, but. Ah, man, I think this is a very weird Ice Punch. I don't see it at all. And here comes the Escadrille, and you Ice Punched it. Oh, I didn't even bother to check the item. Oh, it's leftovers too. Ah, Starmie. Oh man, now what? It's protect too. Idle pump again, I think. Zone, is sucking zone, but you can, okay, I guess you can just outplay your opponent. That's pretty good, actually. Who was the rocker again? Celebi. Oh, it's Rock Celebi too. It's not even plot. I just realized. Okay. So if your opponent goes Celebi, you go Jirachi and U-turn. Okay, I guess you roost here. You okay, Escadrille does not die to her power. That's the thing to worry about, kind of. And now Rocks went up, so Stan is pretty a bad spot. That's it, 55. Jesus, man. Oh, how sad. Hmm. Zone will get thrown to the walls, but that's okay. Okay, Lando, nice. Although you're toxic and this is protect, so it's a bit of a tough one anyway. You click rocks. You have to, right? You need to get them up. No, it doesn't matter because the problem, right? So Finch is in a losing spot here because Kyurem does not want it KO Escadrille. That's a big problem. Storm is too low. It kills everything from here, but double protect means that it and rocks up, so it comes in at 23, minus sand 17, protect 11, switch to Celebi 5, and then next protect it dies. And so Starmie is out of the equation, unless you relinquish it back up, which is always a possibility. Okay, so if it's relinquish Rachi, then Starmie wins from here if it hits Hydro Pump on at the very least. And so I guess that's your game plan. Ice Fang, okay. Think you go cure me here. Starmie. The other potential. But no, there's no way. What hard game? Oh, disaster. Okay, if it's not in English, right? Else this is a very obvious play, right? Okay, Celebi gets killed. That did very little damage. Wow. There was a world in which even English Army didn't win. Huh. Okay, got zone and I don't know. Zone dies, I think. Okay, remove the sun. Nice for Q and Black. I would have saved the land though. I will just attack with zone. Although there's a world in which this is fast glide score faster than QM, but we has it tanked any big move? No. I mean, you just you ice beam, okay, and then you air power the escadrille, and then ice punch it. Is it not enough damage? How bulky is this escadrille? Let's see. Oh, ball, it's mega bulky. Uh, do do you iron edit? No, it's protect, right? So you have to ice punch freeze slash crit. Okay, goes on just in case this might be zero speed, but yeah, it turns out it wasn't. You need a freeze and a crit, and also for the extra to stay frozen a little bit. Like this turn, you need a crit, a freeze, else it's done. And it didn't happen. I will do an actual here and say he should have gone Jirachi after the Quen died, because that means you can also Ice Punch crit win. Instead, if you do like Finch and go zone on the escadrille, you put it outside Ice Punch crit range because of leftovers plus protect. But I mean, nitpick. Okay, so what was the problem? The problem was that Ice Punch was insane. I really don't know what happened there. I do not see the vision at all. And well, not much else to say. Very well played by Harshest, by the way. This was a lot of crazy pivoting mid game. I thought he would lose to Kieran Black plus Starmie, and instead that didn't happen. Well played. Well played by Finch too. Only problem was that Ice Punch, which I think completely kicks his win chances. Like, that's about it, right? There's nothing else to do or to talk about in this game. There's just if the Magnusson was balloon, were balloon, then you could have made a case to go Rachi on the XK when there was still 3 months here, like here, and just hard trick because if you trick the escadrille, balloon zone guarantees the trap with Scar with balloon, then HP fire, and then cure black wins. I mean, it wasn't, so there's no point in speculating too long about it. Anything else? No, really. This was a good game though. Very enjoyable. Good job both. And see you next time.